All right, so we have to talk about it, man. My Houston Texans defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 20-10 on Sunday Night Football last night. The Texans are now 8-5. The Chiefs are now 6-7. And the Texans are now in the thick of it when it comes to the playoffs. As the playoffs started today, the Texans are in. And man, this defense is clicking on all cylinders. You can go back to when I believe the Texans started off 0-2, 0-3. I wasn't, I wasn't happy, right? But I was like, this is a championship caliber defense. You can go back, scroll back, click on that video, check whenever. I believe it was 0-2 or 0-3. I was like, man, this is a championship caliber defense. The offense just has to do something. This defense is going to keep them in every single game, and they might even win some games, but the offense has to show up. And if the offense does just a little bit, come out with some dubs. And that's what's been happening the past, month or so, man. CJ went down. Davis Mills stepped in, won 3 in a row, right? And I believe if CJ finishes that game against the Broncos, I'm just saying, I know we can't go back and I think the Texans get that dub, just how the game was going, but that's neither here nor there. But listen to what Pat McAfee had to say about the Houston Texans.
Number one storyline coming out of yesterday, a primetime problem, the Texans defense. If they're playing in your stadium, you're going to be booing your team. Middle of second quarter, maybe even beginning of second quarter, depending upon how the first quarter goes. They are a problem. This Houston Texans defense is very, very good at seemingly everything. We talk about big athletic dudes around the quarterback all the time. They got that. Back end stingy. Tigre has a huge game here. I mean, you're talking about they came into Indianapolis and just shut us down completely. I mean, and you want to boo just because you're so bored. It's like it's at a game. I would like to see my team do something good. Well, your defense is doing cool. I'd like to see the offense do something. Against Houston Texans, I don't know if your offense is going to do much good things. I honestly don't think that is going to be happening. And the Chiefs just so happen to be the most recent victim. Now, on that note, a couple big-time drops by the Kansas City Chiefs and some big-time moments where they could still be the Chiefs today. But now the entire conversation is, wait a minute, the Chiefs are dead. Their dynasty's dead. It's like Alex Smith said in the pregame. You talked about Alex Smith earlier. I thought he did a great job. We all watched the end of the college football playoff. Alex Smith was saying a lot of things. I think he said the Houston Texans are a better football team than the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. And I think a lot of people were saying, like, hey, that's a hot take. I don't think you've been watching the Houston Texans. If C.J. Stroud and the offense can do anything, which they were able to do last night, this defense is going to have them in every game.
So there you have it. You heard what Pat McAfee had to say. And again, I'm just echoing some of his, some of the things he said. Like this Texans defense is stout. This is a stout defense. I think his co-host talked about them being one of the greatest. If I'm not, did he say one? No, I'm sure, but no, whatever. This Texans defense is legit, man. You got Will Anderson, you got Daniil Hunter up there, you got Settle, you got Rankins, Mario Edwards Jr., and then the linebackers led by Al Shire. Who else? Toa, right? EJ Speed, that's secondary. Kalen Bullock. Who else you got back there? Petrie. Oh, we're gonna talk about that Petrie hit. We're gonna talk about that Petrie hit. Of course, Sting, all pro corner. And on the other side, you got Lassiter. He should probably be a Pro Bowler this year. We keeping it a buck. He should probably be a Pro Bowler this year. We keeping it a buck, right? Man, I'm hyped, man. My team is looking good, man. This is all I wanted. The offense to look somewhat competent, right? Put up some points, and that's what they did, man. But let's talk about the game, how it started. Texans came out, we struck first, right? Had that big play with Nico Collins, that deep shot. If CJ just would have led him, that's a touchdown. That's 6. But I believe we had to settle for 3 right there. And then the first touchdown, who was the first? It was that quick dump out to Woody Marks, and he was wide open. He walked right in. So they were up 10-0 going into the half. And then that third quarter, man, was nasty for the offense, man. It was a stinker. Couldn't get anything going. I believe we had, was it under 10 yards, or it was even negative yards for that third quarter? So it was nowhere to go but up in the fourth quarter. And that's what the Texans did. I'm just speaking specifically on the offense. CJ Stroud, man, he, marched down the field, made a couple big throws. Again, Nico Collins, I forgot, let me rewind. Nico Collins had another big game, right? Was that which led to the touchdown. That was right. I think that was the Woody Marks touchdown job when Nico Collins had that big. He caught the ball and he picked up like 30 yards after the catch. So that was big. Nico showed up, man. Nico, so one of the best in the game. I think he's top 5. He's top 5 receiver. I've been trying to tell my friends that for the past. I told them that 2 years ago, and they thought I was tripping. But hey, they wasn't watching the Texans like how I watch the Texans. They wasn't watching the Texans like how I watch the Texans, man. But yeah, I got a little extra energy, man, talking about my Texans, man. But we got to talk about, Woody Marks, the rookie. He was, even though he wasn't picking up big chunks, we had to stick with the run, keep that defense honest, and he was taking a beating, man. 26 carries. I was looking at the OC. I'm like, hey, man, can we, I know Nick Chubb went down, but can we split up the carries, man? I feel like and Woody Mark's not like a big dude, right? He can't be no taller than 5'10". But he was that was a tough performance by Woody Marks last night, man. He took a beating. He took an absolute beating. And shout out Dare Agumbawale. He punched it in when Woody Marks went down in the red zone. He punched it in, made us go up. So shout out Dare Agumbawale. I felt like it should have been some other running back getting some touches, right? But hey, that's how the game went. And we got to talk about that defense, man. 3 takeaways. The first one, what was the first one? Petrie. Who knocked it? I think somebody, was it Bullock who knocked it in there? Somebody knocked it in. Petrie came down with the pick. What was that second pick? Who was that second pick? Who picked it off? We got to talk about Kamari Lassiter. That deep shot that Patrick Mahomes threw to Thornton. That was 6. But Last is tough. Last knocked it down, tracked him down, focused on the ball, knocked it down. Incompletion. Game saving deflection or whatever it's called, knockout, whatever you want to call it. Great player. Great. He was a second round pick too, if I'm not mistaken. Second round pick, but first round value, if you know what I'm talking about. And then that last pick was Al Shire. I forget his name. Is it Brian? He laid the hit on Kelsey. Bob, it popped up, and Al Shire came down with it. And then the defense was, got pressure on Mahomes. Mahomes gonna be Mahomes, right? I'm not gonna lie. The receivers kind of helped out the Texans, man. They were dropping some passes. I think it was the most dropped pass in the game that Patrick Mahomes ever played in. But this defense played their butt off, man. And we got to talk about that Petrie hit. That Petrie, I saw somebody get online and saying that hit was dirty, and it was an ex-NFL guy. I'm like, what? And then you saw Cree Humphrey after Petrie hit him. Cree Humphrey came, got in Petrie's face. I'm like, what? I can see if it was a borderline dirty hit, right? Then take up for your teammate. But Petrie it was a clean hit on Rashee Rice. And yeah, Cree Humphrey come like he did something crazy. It's football. It's for what happened to the game, right? But hey, if you look at I wish y'all could see the group chat. They told me, my friends were like, man, what the Texans going to do? I'm like, we're about to win out. All this offense has to do is be competent, man. That's it. That is it, man. I'm hyped, man. In the comments, let me know your thoughts about the Houston Texans. I think we can win the division. I think we're going to win the division. With the whole coach situation, you never like to see injuries happen. Daniel Jones went down. I don't believe in the Jags. Hey, I'm biased. You see what it is. I'm biased. I don't believe in the Jags. Trevor Lawrence, I know he's going to make some spectacular plays, but I think he has that, man. If you're a Texans fan, man. I think we're going to win the division. But man, in the comments, let me know your thoughts about this Texans defense. And I think we're one of the scariest teams. I'm looking around the league. I don't see a team that really puts fear in the Texans, man. I'm gonna just be honest. When we get in, watch out. CJ already got 2. CJ and D'Amico already got 2 playoff wins under their belt. This defense is the best in the league. Got one of the best receivers in the league. Hey, let me know your thoughts. Y'all know how I feel. On this memory here at Rocket Park.
At his theme. Somebody needs a basket. We're gonna see him on the post.
Snacks, tell me yesterday, HBC.
Man, once again, man, I appreciate you having me, man. And congrats, man, on the platform. And I say keep it going, keep doing your thing.